Here is my longer video of the 7 levels of energy. And before I launch into all those levels, I just wanted to show you a beautiful example of levels in action. You know, of course, this is an analogy from nature, and you can see how the beautiful different layers of clouds are catching different colors. And there is this crazy fog bank that I have hiked up to get up above, and so that I can see all these gorgeous colors, because otherwise I was down in the mist and it's like you can't see any of it. It's just kind of a bit of a haze down there. And so here, before I set the camera down to grab my clipboard, I just wanted to really give you a very clear example of how, depending on which level you're at, it can really affect your perspective, and it can really affect what you're able to see, what is clear in view, and what might be hidden from your view. Okay, thank you for giving me a moment to just let this be a bit messy as I get organized here. Woo! Okay. Okay, so let's see. Is there room for both of us in here? So, okay, we're going to start at the bottom with the 7 levels of energy. And this is the simplest way of explaining this. There are more complicated ways, and I can dive into this more. But this is the easiest way that I remember, and that's easy for the folks that I work with to remember. So here we go. Number 1, I lose. So this is really where there can be like a victim mentality, or where it feels like, you know, life is happening to me, and like, why is this always happening to me, and so on and so forth. This can be a very disempowered state. And yeah, so the easiest way for me to remember it is I lose. Level 2 is you lose. So we're still in the realm of losing here, but this can be where, you know, anger can come up, and anger can be a really powerful catalyst for change and for taking action. However, you know, at this level, there can be a lot of blame. And, you know, down here in level 1, there can be a lot of shame. So as we rise up into the next level, here we go into the I win, which is, you know, we're still in the realm of competition here, but you can feel how it's more empowering when you're focusing on, you know, winning for yourself rather than just focusing on the other people losing. And so then as we rise up, we get to one of my favorite levels, especially when we're talking about relationships, relationship negotiations and conversations, when we're making agreements within relationships. I love always looking for, oh, sorry. I got ahead of myself. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to let this be messy. You win is a beautiful, here I'm like, can't read my writing backwards and upside down. So you win is again, it's a little bit more, you know, constructive, where you're really wanting to be a supportive force in the world. However, it can also come with some self-sacrifice sometimes, you know, when you're always working to like help lift each other up, lift other people up. Sometimes it can come at your own detriment. So these tend to be fairly destructive forces, and then these upper ones tend to be a little bit more constructive, and 4 kind of has like some of each. It's a bit of a blend. So win-win is the one that I meant to say about the one that I find really helpful when I'm in negotiation, in relationship, conversations, agreements, like all of that kind of stuff. I love trying to find what might be the win-win option. And then if we just keep on going up, you know, and I'll say this is, you know, we start to recognize that, you know, everything can be a win, because really, you know, as we go through life and recognize that some of the biggest challenges are really part of what shaped us into the person that we are today. And so I know some experiences that I've gone through can, you know, I wouldn't wish them upon anyone else because they were quite painful. But at the same time, I wouldn't be who I am here today and now if it weren't for having gone through those experiences and navigated my way through them. And so in that way, you know, no matter what it is, everything can be a form of winning. And then, of course, level 7, here we get into the non-duality, where it's just beyond the whole idea of winning and losing. And so, again, here they all are in the way that I find it easiest to remember. So again, whoops, here is starting with level 1, I lose. Level 2, you lose. Level 3, I win. Level 4, you win. Level 5, win-win. Level 6, everything is a win. And level 7 is beyond winning and losing. And again, I want to also offer the distinction here that part of the reason why I colored them in the colors of the rainbow is because it can be easy to start to get a little bit judgy around which level. And I just want to say that, you know, we're all human. And so we all have moments where we might be at different energy levels. And sometimes, you know, like I said, like anger can be a really powerful catalyst for taking action. You know, when you're done tolerating something, that can really provoke some powerful change if you fuel it in towards action rather than just letting it, you know, rumble around inside you. And so I just wanted to point out, you know, I did all the colors of the rainbow because, like, you know, red is just as beautiful as orange, is just as beautiful as yellow, is just as beautiful as green, and so on and so forth. And so I don't want to make any of the levels, like, you know, wrong or bad, but I find that seeing them in this order, it can just help you to recognize more easily, you know, what's the energy underneath whatever action, phrase, you know, whatever you're up to, there's always an energy underneath it. And so, you know, even if you say the exact same sentence, coming from that energy of feeling like a victim and, you know, really being in that, like, tends to be fairly low. That's where a lot of like depressed states can be. You could say the exact same words, but if you're saying it from that level of energy, it's going to come out and going to come across and be picked up by other people really differently than if you're coming at it from like the level 5, like the win-win. And so this is a concept that I find really, really helpful. I first learned it through Darla Ledoux. She has a whole hour-long video about it, and she credits, I'm totally blanking on his name. I'm going to have to leave it in the description. Oh, Bruce D. Schneider, with coming up with this specific framework, this kind of concept, this way of talking about these different levels of energy. And yeah, and it's something that I find it is so important that, you know, I usually bring it up at one point or other in the work that I'm doing with the people that I'm supporting. And so I just thought it would be helpful to hear a little bit more about it as well. If you want to have the super fast, like just like short version where I don't really dive into any of it at all, I will link the description for that. Link that in here somewhere too in the description, and I'm gonna try to zoom out so you can still see. Yeah, there you go. There's like, it's so beautiful, the sunset here up above, the mist where we can still see the clouds. And, you know, if we were a little bit higher up, then we might even still see the sun because it just dipped beyond those hills just when I arrived to record this. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for letting it be messy. And I really encourage any comments. You know, where do you recognize yourself operating from? And was this video helpful? Again, I would very much love to hear anything you care to share. So you can drop the comments below, or you can always contact me, Dove, at meadowdove.ca. That's meadowdove.ca. Thank you so much, and mwah, till next time.